Hi guys, it's Isaiah Saya on Isaiah Sport Talk. It's good to be here again, even though I just made a video about 3 minutes ago. But it's good to be back. So I created a series on my Snapchat, and it was baseball, and I wanted to examine all 30 teams, and specifically there are 6 divisions with 5 teams in each of them. If you're not familiar with Major League Baseball, and I wanted to go into each division, and the divisions names are the American League West, American League Central, American League East, National League West, National League Central, National League East, and I'm starting with the American League East, and I think a lot of people know the American League East because they consist of the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, then teams you might not know, um, Toronto Blue Jays, Tampa Bay Rays, and Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles are my favorite team. But what I want to do is I wanted to do projections, what record I think each team will finish, if they'll make the playoffs, if they won't. Each team I want to talk about each team's most valuable player, most improved player, and their worst player, their bum, I like to call it. Um, and that's what I was thinking of doing. And I did start this video on Snapchat, but the thing was, Snapchat was very blotchy. If you see my intro, it goes into more detail about it. But yes, and I did the Yankees. I was thinking of putting the Yankee video on my phone on YouTube, and I it was a very long video, and I don't want to redo it. I mean, I just don't want to. If you really want it, I can screen record it and send it to you. But I projected them with 107 wins and 55 losses, and they also win. Of course, they win the division. And I didn't actually I take that back. I didn't talk about playoffs yet. I won't be talking about baseball playoffs until we are actually in the month of September, maybe August. So I just talked about how I think they did in regular season. I talked about acquisitions. I talked about some trades. I talked about players that are poised to potentially break out. I talked about a player or two that might degrade, and then I just talked. I basically went on a rant on how much I love the Yankees. But today I had the decision of really choosing the Tampa Bay Rays, Boston Red Sox, or Toronto Blue Jays. They are the only true contenders for second place. And Baltimore Orioles are in a state of rebuild, and their players are absolutely horrid. As an Orioles fan, I think we have 2 or 3 good players that are really good and that will be starters on other organizations. But I talked about the Blue Jays, who are also were pretty horrible too. Not as bad as the Baltimore Orioles, but they have a ton of young talent, and they really played well last year. And I think they can mature and um, get better. And I think they really have a good shot. And they did some signings. And also the Red Sox, their trades, and I really had a lot to consider. Let's just take that all in. I had a lot to consider, and I chose with 98 wins and 64 losses on a projection. I chose the Tampa Bay Rays to take second place in the American League East division. They did so last year, and I believe they will again this year. So to start off, I'm going to go on about a couple of acquisitions that occurred and also some trades that occurred, and why they occurred. And some trades that happened needed acquisitions, needed to pick up players. They lost some players and then they gained some players. And honestly, just looking at this lineup, just looking at this team as a whole, they're absolutely juiced. Absolutely juiced. It's unrefined. It is. I can't explain. This team is insane. The prospect system is good. Obviously, right now they're really good as starters in the major league system. Um, Preseason they're showing they're impressive. But right now I'm just gonna go into some trades, acquisitions. Um, Also, a couple of rumors about this team that surround this team. So first you got a pitcher. I forget his first name, but his last name is Lebentor, Josh Lebentor or something. They traded him to the Cardinals. He's the #1 pitching prospect in the whole entire Major League Baseball. They traded him into the St. Louis Cardinals, and they got a couple of smaller prospects back in return, including a catching prospect, I'm pretty sure. And there was rumors circulating that the St. Louis Cardinals were going to use this guy Lambertor or Lobatom. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they were going to utilize him and also put in a couple good players in a package to acquire Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado. I don't think, of course, it obviously didn't happen, but I think it's just people talking out of their buttholes. I don't think it actually it's gonna happen, but that was that was a common rumor, and that's what made me remind me of that trade. Is just like Nolan Arenado. I love Nolan Arenado, and I actually almost forgot about this trade that happened. This was towards the end of the offseason. Then you have some trades that occurred. Tommy Pham, outfielder for the Tampa Bay Rays. He came over from the Cardinals about 2 years ago at the on July 31st in trade deadline. And when he came over, he played brilliantly, absolutely phenomenal. Very cheap. I think about $4.6 million contract. I'm not too sure off the top of my head, but really good contact. Had some sufficient power, 20, 25 home runs. Really fit into this Rays lineup well as they're trying to mature their players. He really turned his career around, I think, in that batting average department, especially in on base percentage. Um, I traded him to the San Diego Padres as well as shortstop prospect, I think number 6 or 7, I'm not too sure. Shortstop Xavier Edwards. Traded him to San Diego Padres. Or no, they actually no, my bad. I'm sorry, I messed that up. They traded Tommy Pham for shortstop Xavier Edwards, as well as who else did they trade for? Manuel Margot. They traded for him and Manuel Margot. Manuel Margot, Padres. He has been poised to break out every year. A very overhyped player. Oh my gosh, he's gonna break out. He's gonna do so well. He's a tremendous contact hitter. I think if he really has a good season and if he becomes a starter, which he will not because Kevin Kiermaier is the current starter for the Rays and he plays superstar defense. And his offense numbers can get better. They still have hope, but they do believe Margot will not get the full time starting job. But also Margot has terrific defense, and he's really good at the right side of the plate. And now they got two center fielders. Kiermaier bats left, Margot bats right, and potentially what can happen is we see a platoon situation where both players play center field based on who's pitching on the mound that night, which honestly will be in the best interest. But yeah, they're good against pitchers with opposing arms and like Margot's a right-handed batter, so left-handed pitchers, he hammers those balls. Kiermaier, right-handed pitching, he hammers those balls. Um, so yeah, that's a trade. Do I think it was a good trade? Yes, I think Manuel Margot will get more mature. Um, I think in the future, and I think the Rays know what they're doing. Tommy Pham was going to get expensive, and the Rays sound like they have a Yankee payload. They can't really pay him. I mean, this guy deserves a long-term deal, and the San Diego Padres are, they are getting loaded, and they need to clear some space. And I mean, I knew as soon as Pham went to the Cardinals, that he went to the Rays. I'm sorry, he was not going to be staying there for a very long time. So that was really cool to see him go to the Padres. I wish he did stay on the Rays, of course. He was a big part of their playoff run, but life happens. Sucks to suck. And yeah, and then we got another trade involving, of course, the San Diego Padres again. I mean, honestly, Tampa Bay and San Diego, they should just marry each other because they love each other, and I think they'll trade each other players forever. We got another trade. We got a top 10 um, relief pitcher in Emilio Pagan. I don't understand why they traded Emilio Pagan. I think that was very dumb of them. The bullpen is what really defines them. People look at their bullpen, wow, your bullpen's insane. And also players with foreign descent. They're known for having a ton of foreign players on that team. But they traded a top 10 relief pitcher in the league to the San Diego Padres, which for Padres is really good. But overall, the deal is shaky. You got in return Hunter Renfro, massive power bat. The Rays really built him up, and honestly, I believe in Hunter Renfro. If he gets that average above a 200, honestly, I can't explain how important he will be for this lineup. He can play left field. I think he's going to be ending up starting left field, and I'm really happy for that. He's gonna or we might platoon it with another guy who I'll get to in the acquisitions that are coming up. So I think honestly, I don't like it. I really like you had to trade Emilio Pagan. You've given away a top pitching prospect. You gave away your top shortstop project prospect. You gave away Tommy Pham. You're giving away a lot of players, and you're getting some things in return, but really no hard guarantee that these players are really going to have successful careers. But the Tampa Bay Rays are known to change players' careers around. I mean, you never know. I mean, you could see Manuel Margot in an All Star game one day, or Hunter Renfroe. I can totally see him in an All Star game. I think he actually has been in an All Star game before. But yeah, I mean, cool. I don't like it, but what can you do? And speaking of losses, we have obviously Al Garcia. After the Chicago White Sox in 2017, he was very unhealthy. The White Sox got rid of him, which I think was a very poor move, and they gave him to the Tampa Bay Rays organization. The Rays built him up again, made him a great contact hitter, and I could say home run power, but he had 20 home runs exactly. So I mean, great season from him. But I mean, you look at a guy like that. I mean, he literally looks like Aaron Judge, like 15 pounds less than Aaron Judge. And if you don't know who that is, he's a home run hitting machine. But the fact that he's a monster and he only hit 20 home runs, yeah. But what he's good at, he plays solid defense. He's a plus WAR. I mean, he's a great contact bat. He's really good. He's a great team player. Teammates love him. He's stayed healthy since. He's a very phenomenal player. He was a really the White Sox built him up. I'm surprised they gave him away, but I mean they did. Think life happens. Now look at it. Now look at the White Sox. They have Luis Robert and what's his name, Eloy Jimenez, Eloy Robert's having a monster season, and Eloy Jimenez had a monster season. So life happens. But obviously, Garcia on a one-year contract. The Rays did not want to extend him, therefore giving him to free agency. Therefore, Milwaukee Brewers signing a two-year deal with him and to replace their offensive woes and losing Osmani Grandal and Mike Moustakas, who were two major key factors of that Brewers offense. And now Tampa Bay is in a state of flux, and I think acquiring Renfro can help. Also, what I love about this team, as I said before, is their ability to acquire foreign players. And the second, in my opinion, I think statistically too, the most, uh, the largest other baseball league other than the Major League Baseball Association, between, of course, the United States and Canada. I think you got to go to Japan. And Japan has produced great players for us in the past. Shohei Ohtani recently, massive home run power, and also a great starting pitcher who is finally healthy again, thank God. And of course, the legendary Ichiro Suzuki. Um, I'm excited. Uh, it's really good. Um, wow, and both these players really did a great job. And now we have a signing that occurred. Tampa Bay Rays that they did do, and his name is Yoshitomo Tsugo. Yes, that's right. Yoshitomo Sugo. I'll figure that out. I promise. But basically, what happened is he signed a 2-year, $12 million contract with the Tampa Bay Rays organization. This guy can play up to two positions. Bigger guy, but more of like an Adrian Belcher kind of figure, as I can compare him. Meaning he can play third base, designated hitter, and he is a left fielder. So platooning um, with Renfro because he is a left-handed bat and Renfro's a right-handed bat. You could see some platooning in there. You could see a lot of DH. You could see third baseman essentially coming in. This guy is going to get over 450 at bats, I guarantee. Last year, an ultimate breakout year, about 30 home runs in the Japanese league. I love him a lot. I love him. His stance is really weird, but really awkward, but it's really cool. He knows how to work it. This is a situation where it's uh, low risk, high reward, 12 million, perfect price for a guy you don't really know coming out of a different league. He's going to do really well. And Major League Baseball is really been doing a good job in these foreign acquisitions. And finally, for the first time, the Cincinnati Reds were the last team to acquire a player from the region of Japan. And so that just shows. I mean, 7 to 10. Um, I just put my finger on the camera. Sorry, but 7 to 10 Japanese players were acquired. So yeah, this is really
good. It just shows Major League Baseball expanding, and it really looks good on them. Except just exploring into between Mexico and South America, you're moving a little bit towards the other side of the world, and it looks really good. So yeah, Tetsugo, massive power back, kind of like a Renfro guy, Hunter Renfro, but his average is a lot up in the past 4 or 5 years. He's gotten it way above 250 to about 290, and wow, I mean, this guy is a stud. I can't wait to see it. Today specifically, he yeeted a home run over the wall. I mean, just shows you he's got power. He's got something to bring. He's coming to America. Doesn't really speak English a whole lot. I mean, it's got to be hard for players like him to come to this league. But yeah, I'm excited. It's all cool. And those are really the only trades and acquisitions. So now we're going to talk about the pitching rotation and how that looks. Blake Snell, of course, 2018 American League Cy Young MVP, Cy Young winner for pitchers, of course. That's basically, it means the best pitcher in that division based on statistics, various statistics. But yeah, this year he's ranked 13 on starting pitching list, so that's really good. And he had a really poor season, 2019 though. Really, he was kind of the bum of the team. Really, kind of just tanked. He deserves a comeback from that 21-5 campaign because last year he went with 6 wins, 8 losses, and a 4.29 ERA, and that is just not good. Horrible. So he's due for breakout. Tyler Glasnow, I mean, what in the heck were the Pittsburgh Pirates doing giving up Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows, who, by the way, Austin Meadows was an all-star last year. I'll get to him. He's the right fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays. But they basically gave up on both of those guys, and they really haven't been able to fill that position in entirely yet. But Tyler Glasnow started last year off really well, 6-1 with a 1.7 earned run average and 60+ innings until he got right. I think he had like a groin strains, and he had like a leg injury, and that kept him out the rest of the year. So that was really sad. Yeah, just not good. Charlie Morton, very consistent, spent a very long time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now he's on Tampa Bay Rays. He's looking good. He's feeling great. He's healthy. Last year, 16 wins, 6 losses, a 3.05 ERA. Very, very solid pitcher. This is a guy you want playing your third, fourth spot, maybe even your second spot if you're an average team, but the Rays are above average. But if you're an average team, you can see this guy in the second or third spot. And you can maybe potentially even see him as your number 1 pitcher in your rotation. But in this rotation, he is third, and he is looking good. He's ready to go. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. Yanni Chirinos, probably projected, in my opinion, he'll be the 4th starter. He went 9-5 with a 3.45 ERA last year, but he got out. He had some little minor injuries that affected his fastball, and I'm pretty sure his slider too. He had middle finger inflammation on the right hand, so not to flip anyone off, but yeah, that finger, he basically had inflammation there. Really affected him, we can see. And then, but he's ready to go. He is ready to go. He is healthy. He is good. I'm excited to see what he can bring up to the table. And then you got that 5th spot. So much competition. I love it. I can't stress enough. Ryan Yarbrough, Brendan McKay, Trevor Richards, and Anthony Banda. Anthony Banda has played 35 games in the major leagues with a 6.75 ERA, which is really high, but he also is kind of young, so those stats can turn around. He's competing for that position. Ryan Yarbrough, he's probably going to get that starting role, I think. It's either going to be him or Brendan McKay, but Ryan Yarbrough, he had a pretty solid season, 11-6 with a 4.13 ERA. Walk rate, a little high, a lot of walks. ERA, but thank God you have sufficient offense to get you 11 wins and 6 losses. And then you have Brendan McKay, and his story is beautiful. You have to look it up. I'm not going to be going too much in detail about him, but he is also a designated hitter, which means he also hits and he pitches, which is very rare. We only see that with one other pitcher so far, and that is Shohei Ohtani. And honestly, seeing him come is awesome. Very good. I love it. And yeah, so Brendan McKay, he hit a home run last year. He had a pretty solid his debut. I think got 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run, about 5 innings, very well. Ended up with a winning record, I'm pretty sure, but he only had like about 3 or 4 starts, so it wasn't too much progress. Trevor Richards played for the Marlins. He was straight booty cheeks. But also, you can't really blame him because he was on the Miami Marlins, and they are a horrible team in general. I'm so glad they got him out. But this guy has a ton of experience. He's a very good pitcher. I'm glad he got out of that Miami system. Just, ugh. Like, I don't really care. I mean, I want to win. I love money, and I love what they probably offered him. He probably loved what they offered him financially. But, man, now you're on a winning franchise, and I hope you can get a starting role. I think you can be really well, and I think you deserve that fifth spot. And yes, those are the guys. And then you have a bullpen that is just insane. And of course, they lost Pagan, but they still have Diego Castillo. They still have Beeks. They still got guys who have serious velocity on pitches, and they have serious command. I mean, this bullpen is a top 5 bullpen in the whole entire league, and I'm excited to see what they can do. Now we're going to be talking about the actual offensive players, what they can do. For starters, you have playing first baseman. I have Ji-Man Choi. Very good. Bounced a lot between Milwaukee, went to Toronto, was part of Los Angeles Angels. Just really not finding his groove. But he found a home in the tropics, let me tell you. Last year, 19 bombs, weighted about an 822 OPS, 261 batting average. I mean, this guy was just absolutely incredible at first base. He walked a lot. He's a big walker, very patient at the plate, doesn't strike out a whole lot, has some pop. His pop's going to get better. His stats are getting better every year periodically. I'm excited. I think he's going to have a breakout season. Definitely a 25-plus homer campaign. Second baseman, we have Brandon Lau. I love him. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him. Definitely was still in the Rookie of the Year mix for the American League. I'm pretty sure he hit 17 home runs out of the park. Carried about a 270 batting average. OPS was high, 850 OPS. And he's very young, 23 years old. And he wasn't healthy at all. He needs to stay healthy. I think he had groin problems too. I'm not too sure. But he had problems with his lower part of the body, I'm pretty sure. I will get you on that if you really want to know what happened. But he was out just before the All-Star game, I think. And came back for the playoffs and was incredible on their run until they lost to the Astros in Game 5. But very good player, 6-year contract. I mean, wow. I mean, that was just year 1. And this guy has a lot to bring to the table, and I'm totally excited to see him in year 2. Shortstop, Willy Adames. I mean, come on, man. Let's be realistic here. You're a power-hitting shortstop. You finally hit for average for the first time in your career, which is really good. 20 bombs, though, and you are called a power-hitting shortstop. What I like to call a power-hitting shortstop is guys like Trevor Story, Frankie Lindor, even Corey Seager. I mean, guys that are contact shortstops. Jorge Polanco have yeeted almost 30 home runs out of the park. I mean, I think you need to redefine your role, buddy. Strikes out a lot, but he's 23 years old, and I think this guy can make 2 or 3 All-Star appearances, and I think this guy could have a potentially well season. I don't see it going well, though. Hopefully he can play well. Third base, Yandy Diaz. I love that name, Yandy. It's a great name. 79 games. Also need to stay healthy. Not good when it comes to staying healthy. Maintained 816 OPS, which is really good. 14 bombs last year, and honestly, he was very good when he was healthy. He came into the playoffs against the Oakland Athletics in that wild card game, and he hit 2 home runs, and he really propelled that 5-1 victory over Oakland at the Coliseum, and that was awesome. Helped propel his team to the American League Division Series. So stay healthy. He's good. Mike Zunino, shut the front door. I never liked him. I don't like him. He's a horrible work ethic type of guy. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. Last year, he had a 165 batting average with 9 home runs in about 80-something games. Absolutely gross. He needs to play better. He is solid at defense. I'll give him that. But he's gross. He's atrocious. No. Just no. And then we have Martin Perez backing him up, who's more of a contact type of catcher, which I can support. So I'm happy, you know. I think that duo will work out. I think Zunino obviously will get better from a 165 batting average. It's not Chris Davis of the Orioles that we're talking about here. It's Mike Zunino. If he was so bad, people will be talking about him more. So he just had an off season. He'll get better, but last year he was absolutely gross. Now we're going to talk about the outfield. Like I said, Hunter Renfroe and Yoshitomo Tsugu. I will get that name right, I promise you. So don't get offended if you're Japanese and you're watching this channel. Please don't get offended. I will get the last name correct. But these batters hit for power. The only difference is Tetsugo is a left-handed batter, and he has a higher average. And Renfroe is a right-handed batter, and he has a lower average. And also, Renfroe is a better defender, and Tetsugo is not as good at defense. So, really, they balance out, and I can see them totally platooning in that left field position. Center field, Kevin Kiermaier, excellent defense, as well as Manuel Margot. Only difference is Kiermaier is a left-handed bat, Margot is a right-handed bat. Both hit for contact, not a whole lot of power. They can platoon really well in that center field position. And then right field, honestly, right field, that is Austin Meadows' territory. That position is solidified. Done deal, had a breakout season, made the All-Star team. Really happy for him. I love watching him play. Very patient at the plate. Like I said, the Pittsburgh Pirates really gave up on him. Should have kept him around because he was an All-Star the very next year on the same time that they shipped him off. So yeah, expect great things from him. Definitely, I believe this guy is the MVP of the team. I think he's gonna just sprout. I mean, how old is this man? Like 25 years old? I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. This guy's an absolute legend on Tampa Bay Rays. He's gonna be around for a while. Hopefully, he signs a big contract. I want to see it coming. A most improved player. I'm definitely gonna lean towards. Who am I going to lean towards? I'm definitely going to lean towards Brandon Lau. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him, but when we did get to see him, he was a very productive hitter and a very productive at defense. I expect him to go up a lot. And most improved pitcher, I'm just going to do one more. I think it's going to be Blake Snell. He's definitely going to improve from that 6-8 record, and try and get back to that 21-5 record that he had the year before. He's definitely going to improve. And then the player I think is going to just appreciate. I'm going to go with Willy Adames. And I enjoy watching him play when he is patient, but he's just not there. I mean, he's a power hitting shortstop, and he doesn't really hit a lot of home runs. Strikes out a ton. Hasn't really been consistent. He's not a consistent player. Defense is, it's okay. It's average, but it's not what you want it. And yeah, so that's what I got for Tampa Bay Rays. I placed him second place. And yep, so thank you very much for watching. I say Sport Talk. Please, this is the last video for the night. Tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe to the channel. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I can actually live stream, and I would love to do that by the end of March. That would be an awesome goal. Actually, by the end of March, I'm going to make my goal more realistic. I would love to get about 500 subscribers. So please, guys, help make that possible. Thank you for watching. Have a nice night.